That's where the action starts on draft night. We know what's happening at 1 and 2. Caesar Sportsbook by William Hill disagrees with the rest of the world, it seems, on what's going to happen at number 3. They've got Justin Fields as the favorite. Our Chris Mortensen told us last night on a SportsCenter special he sees it very differently.
What I am hearing is that this is Mac Jones, and it's in the 90th percentile in terms of likely to be picked. There, when they made that trade from 12 to 3, that was the pick. But there was a 10% margin there, and I trying to sort out, well, who's got the advantage between Trey Lance and Justin Fields on that remaining percentage. I was told Trey Lance probably over Justin Fields. But this Mac Jones, right now, you would have to put your money down. I know Vegas says differently, that it will be Mac Jones.
And so, as we bring Desmond Howard back into the conversation, again, your job to analyze all these guys all year long, if indeed it is Mac Jones that they traded all of this to go get, and they go up and take him. And the reality is they might win a lot of games, and the objective of this thing is not to win the draft, it's to win games. But what would you think of that move if that indeed is what they do?
I would be surprised. I would be very surprised if they ended up with the Mac Jones. And to be honest with you, Greeny, I kind of leaned on the side of Trey Lance like you did, because I thought that Trey Lance was a guy with tremendous upside, with all the tools they would need to run the offense. But about, a few days ago, Dominique Foxworth got on the show, and you know how Dominique can be. Dominique talking about, are they going to mortgage all those picks for a guy? When I watch his highlights, I'm looking in the end zone, and it says Penguins. The guy's playing against Youngstown State. So I see Dominique say that, and I'm thinking, well, maybe he's got a point. Maybe they wouldn't mortgage all those picks for a guy who played in the FCS. But so I would be surprised if it's Mac Jones. I was leaning Trey Lance, but I would not be shocked at all if it's actually Justin Fields, because it makes sense for everything that they gave up to move up to number 3.
Yeah, RC, Neeks did say that here, and it was funny. But the reality is Carson Wentz played at that same program, and they also, the Eagles traded a ton to go up and get him at number 2. Yeah. So we've seen it happen before. RC, what do you think?
You know what? I think Vegas doesn't like giving money away, and so a lot of times Vegas is right. I also know that Mort doesn't play games, and if this is what he's hearing, then I believe that is at least the information that is being put out to the world. And guys, let's think about this, you know, for the long term, right? For the last few weeks or for the last month or so, since the San Francisco 49ers moved up to number 3, Mac Jones has been in play. This is a guy that has risen not during the season like Joe Burrow, but even after the season, after the Senior Bowl, after evaluations. This is a guy who continues to be mentioned at that 3rd pick. And listen, I'm not saying that Mac Jones can't be a good football player. We watch him lead his team to a national championship. We also watched him lead the best team to a national championship. And for me, Kyle Shanahan knows who this pick will be. Greeny is leaning Trey Lance. Desmond is leaning Trey Lance. And that will make so much sense to me from a measurable, right, and a skill set standpoint. And if that is the call, that means that the Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch moved up to number 3. They knew who their guy was. They knew what the skill set was, and be danged what anyone else says.
Yeah, for the record, I mean, there were a total of 6 other players on that Alabama offense this past year that will be drafted in the first 3 rounds, almost assuredly. So, I mean, it was a loaded team in a variety of different ways. Dan Graziano, I come back to you because we all have our opinions, but you're talking to the people who actually will make these decisions. What are you hearing?
Well, the 49ers decision makers aren't talking. They're keeping it close to the vest. My understanding is, you know, I think obviously Mort is on point as usual. I mean, Mac Jones is what you hear, and I think he's probably the favorite, or should be the favorite on those Vegas odds. But as of Monday, when we were on this show talking about this, no final decision had been reached, and they were heading out to Fargo to check out Trey Lance up close and in person. So they're looking at that and everything they saw Monday and putting that into the hopper with all of their other information, and they will make a decision. I think if you had to bet right now, you would probably be wise to bet Mac Jones, but I don't think it's 100% certain. And Greeny, all along, based on things I've heard from around that organization, Trey Lance makes a lot of sense. If they take Trey Lance number 3, we have to have the get up, I told you so special the week after the draft, because we have been on this from the very beginning since they made that trade. I think Trey Lance is probably the guy that makes the most sense for them.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.